insanely immersive and extremely intense. Those are the words I would use to describe BodyCam, the newest shooter addition to the GFN library, and one that is fantastic looking at that. Seriously, I can't stress enough, if you're looking for a title to really push the envelope of what GFN's Ultimate tier can do, this is it. The game is running on Unreal Engine 5 and it shows. The maps, textures, and lighting are just outstanding. They really build a sense of atmosphere that's hard to describe, and one that's very much so worth experiencing if you're into these types of games. And just so you know, all the gameplay you're seeing in the background was captured off a GeForce Now Ultimate instance running at 4K resolution with almost maxed out settings. I currently have motion blur off as well as shadows set to medium. Now, one of the most outstanding facts about this game is that it was developed by two French game enthusiasts aged 17 and 20. Their idea behind it, to push the boundaries of realism and photorealism, and that it does. There were literal moments while playing the game that I felt like my jaw dropped, not just due to the visual stunningness of it, but also the audio. The eerie quietness while stalking around the map and then the sudden loud gun blast that sounds impactful is great. Seriously, just take a listen for yourselves. And on top of that, the lighting system looks fantastic, as when you shoot, the muzzle flash can really light up a dark space, revealing everything. And while I could certainly keep going on about the presentation of the game, we do need to talk about the gameplay itself. Obviously, it's a bit different than most shooters because it's taking place from a shaky body cam. That said, I'm quite surprised just how quickly I got used to it, but I'm not one to get motion sick easy, and I know of someone who does when they see this gameplay. I could totally see it being a deal breaker for some out there, but I found it fairly unique. When it comes to game modes, you have the classics like Deathmatch or Team Deathmatch, but also one called Body Bomb, which is essentially something like Search and Destroy or Counter-Strike. Do note, it is a multiplayer only title and there is no skill-based matchmaking at the time, and I'm not sure if they plan on implementing it either. That said, there is a server browser as well as a quick play button to try and connect you to the closest server. The last thing I'll say about the gameplay is that you should be expecting slower paced combat. This isn't the type of game where you rush around and run and gun. You can kill in one good shot or a couple well-placed shots, so expect your own death to be sudden as well. You're going to want to play slow and play with your team. It is worth pointing out that when you die, you become a drone, so you can fly around and try and help your teammates find the missing opponents, but you can be shot down as a drone or crash into something and then you'll be stuck watching your teammates' point of view. If you want me to compare the game to something else, then I would describe it as a much slower paced Rainbow Six Siege, though BodyCam definitely has its own unique feel that will take some time to adjust to. Now, if there's one negative I have to attribute to the game, it's the fact that it's in early access, so expect a lack of content in the here and now, but the developers do have a roadmap for the game. It promises things like performance improvement, bug fixes, as well as new weapons, maps, and game modes. Not to mention the addition of NVIDIA DLSS, which will be good for GeForce Now users. Now, like I said, there is a lack of content in the here and now, but in addition to it being in early access, do expect some bugs here and there, as there are certain interactions that are a little funky. You'll run into your fair share of clipping, especially when sticking close to objects. That said, the developers do seem dedicated to this game, and with the amount of success it's seen on Steam, I wouldn't be too shocked to see them follow through on these roadmap promises. There's already a lot of interest here, and it seems like the game is just going to be growing and growing, especially with the overall reception as of now. I will also point out they do seem to be wanting to add a zombie game mode, whether this is going to be PvP zombies or co-op zombies. I think it'd be great to have a co-op option. And now that you know about the game itself, let's talk about the experience on GeForce Now. It's fantastic. Seriously, for this type of game, GeForce Now Ultimate makes so much sense because I doubt many of us have PCs that could really take advantage of everything this game has to offer. I mean, even the Ultimate tier itself can't sustain 60 FPS at maxed out settings. If that's something you want, I recommend dropping everything to medium. But if you're okay with some dips into the 50s and sometimes lower than that, I would say that it's totally worth checking this game out at its best possible visuals. At least for the experience, and then drop down those settings when you want to play competitively. As for playing the game itself, GeForce Now Ultimate really does feel like just playing locally at home. I've said it again and again in these videos, and I will keep on saying it, it is absurdly impressive just how good Nvidia's gotten latency to feel on their service. Basically, I'm saying that I wouldn't be fearful of the game not running well enough or not feeling good enough to actually compete in. I played it perfectly fine and ended up being the top scorer on my team. Now, as for whether or not I recommend picking up BodyCam right here, right now, That's a bit of an interesting question because I have praised the game quite a lot, but I'd say it heavily depends on what your expectations are for the price. There is a notable lack of content, and while there is more on the way, maybe you want to wait for that content to come out. But if you want to experience something unique right now, this is pretty well worth it. Just know what you're getting into, and I'd say it's fine to dip in now. Now, if you have any remaining questions about the game or any questions about GeForce Now itself, leave them down in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. If you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. And as always, thank you for watching the video. I hope you have a great day. This has been Steven from Anytime Anywhere Gaming, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.